Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I am participating in the Scrappy Sisters Scrap September, and this edition is all about scraps. So I am working on a layout. It's a single photo, single page layout, but none of my papers, including the background papers, are going to be full size. They are all scraps out of my scrap bin, including that green sheet which has been cut into, and the creamy yellow piece there. It does look like you could use it for a full-size layout if maybe you were doing an 8.5 by 11 or a 9 by 12, but since I mostly do 12 by 12, I consider it a scrap at this point. So I'm cutting this green sheet of paper into a triangle, or I guess partially into a triangle. And so it is going to make up the difference in that yellow piece of paper so that it will be a 12 by 12 layout. And you can see me measuring there, make sure that I get it done correctly. I'm not really backing it with anything because these are larger pieces of paper. I have done layouts where I have used a piece of really old scrapbook paper, the really thin flimsy stuff that, you know, maybe I purchased in 1999, and then put nicer scraps on top of it to make an entire background. But in this case I am just using the papers that I have there and attaching them together. Now I had this, I think it's like a page divider, and I think it's from Cocoa Daisy. I got it from somebody at a crop, and I really like the flowers on it, so I was trying to figure out how I wanted to use it. I fussy cut part of it. I set it aside thinking I'll think about it while I build up some background layers behind this photo. And so I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it, but I do end up fussy cutting all of those little flowers out. And then I know I want something in a darker color on the left hand side. You can see me playing with some strips of paper there in green. And I know I want something over there to kind of balance out the heavier green on the right hand side. I think because the paper on the right hand side is darker, it needed something darker on the left hand side to balance it out. And while I think about that, I go back to matting my photos, and then I go back to cutting out more flowers because I haven't really decided what I want to do. I decided to bite the bullet and go ahead and back these photos. I'm using this orange sheet of paper, this yellow. I think the yellow is from Bo Bunny. I'm not sure where the orangey kind of corally paper is from. And I just layer up several sheets of paper to kind of bring in all of the colors from those flowers. Now I played with putting those flags on, and I end up keeping the green on the right hand side, but I kind of flipped my paper back and forth trying to decide which way I wanted it. Do I want the green on the right or on the left? It does end up staying on the right, and the main reason for that was because I was going to use those flags, and since the flags go off towards the right, I wanted to use them on the right hand side of my photo. And I wanted them to have the green as a background behind them. Well, pretty much that whole thought process went out the door because I don't end up using those little flags. Now those green strips of paper that I was toying around with putting on the left hand side, I ended up flipping it over, and it's got this Hawaiian print which really just does not match the florals at all, but because it's such a tiny strip of paper that I'm using there, it doesn't have to match. It's just bringing in those colors. You're not seeing a ton of the pattern, and in fact I adhered that down just a little bit off kilter, and you're going to see me trim it, or maybe you don't see me because I might do that off screen over on my Caterpillar off to the side. So yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm trimming that piece of paper off, and then you'll see that it's not completely straight up and down. It's wider at the bottom than at the top, so it gives a little more weight at the bottom of the layout, which I like. And then I put a couple more strips of that as layers behind the photo, and that kind of draws those colors over. And I did not really have enough of the florals to span the entire distance where the green meets the yellow. So I'm going to have to put some embellishments at the top of my photo and at the bottom of my photo so that I can spread those florals out, because I want them to cover up the majority of where those two papers meet each other. If you don't watch my videos normally, you might not know, but I have a lot of my embellishments sorted by color. Usually I start out with my collections together, but as I use them and get towards the end of them, I break them up into color and put them in these little black boxes that I have. And so I'm going through the reds because I know there's a lot of kind of that corally red or the softer red, and I want to pull some of those out to embellish around the photo. And the story with this photo is I was helping my friend there in the right hand side of the photo with her booth at Scrapbook Expo, and the lady in the middle is actually a friend of ours that we met when we used to go to the Scrapbook Steals Crop in Utah, and that was several years ago. We would drive from California to Utah to go to this weekend retreat that they hosted, and it was so much fun. They had vendors that came in and offered classes, and they gave away swag bags that were amazing. And the friend in the middle is the one that set up the event. And so we happened to meet up with her at Scrapbook Expo. I didn't know she was going to be there, so it was a big surprise. And so the title of my layout is Fancy Meeting You Here, because it was so good to see her, and it was just great to be able to connect with her again in person. So that's what my layout is about. And so I've pulled out some of these labels that I'm tucking in behind my photo and then putting over the top and the bottom of my photo. And I've got that piece that says hello. And then I'm going to put the little semicircle banner piece under it that says Heart of Gold. And I'm popping that up onto some foam. It's not super thick foam. It's kind of a thinner foam that I got from a friend of mine. She had this huge roll of it, so she cut off pieces for all of our friend group that scrapbooks. And then the hello piece is actually popped up onto some fun foam, so it's a little bit thicker. And then I'm just going to pull out these red glittery stickers, and I'm going to do my title, and I'm going to handwrite my journaling right below that. So head on over to the Scrappy Sisters YouTube channel. I will put a link down below, and check out what their layout is for today. And the topic today is scraps. They are doing a layout every day, and they've got special guests lined up every day this month for each of their topics, so check that out. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time, and I highly encourage you to go check out all of those other layouts, because you're going to find some really fun things, and the topics are really fun as well. I've pulled out this little red box again, or red embellishment box again. I'm looking for these little epoxy red glittery hearts, and so I know I have a few of them in there, and I'm going to just scatter a few of them around, not a ton, just a little bit of finishing touch. I will handwrite the date on the top label and then the location at the bottom label. Thank you so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and pop those down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And like and subscribe if you would. I would really appreciate it. And again, don't forget to go check out the Scrappy Sisters and their Scrap September event, and check out what all of the other ladies are doing. It's really amazing what they've put together for this month. So thanks again for watching. I will see you next time.